Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. I'm running a little late. I wanted to start earlier, but I couldn't make it. We have J.W. Dant Charcoal Perfected American Blended Whiskey. Old style now. What that means, I do not know. Charcoal Perfected, I guess they drip it through charcoal and it's supposed to make it better. Perfected. I hate to see the unperfected based on. And there's two medals that it's never won. It says Backacre Distillery. Backacre Distillery. Blended whiskey with natural flavors and caramel color. Since 1836. Well, Dance, yes, since 1836. Charcoal perfected since 1956. 120 years later. No age statement. The Dant Distillery, Bardstown, Kentucky. Yeah, that's Heaven Hill. This was $6.49 at a liquor store in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi on US Highway 90. Now, I saw on the internet some people were complaining about why did they change it? It used to be straight bourbon. Now they got this blended version. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just that they got two different versions, maybe more than two. There's the straight bourbon version, which I think I've seen, but I got so much bourbon. Then there's the charcoal perfected blended version. They might have always been produced, but it's just that people that may have been getting the bourbon for a long time, they started stocking the blended. That's just I don't really know. I'd have to check the product specifications on Heaven Hill's website to be sure. So it's dark because it's got caramel color added. At least they're telling you that, because there's a lot of much more expensive products from Ireland, Scotland, Canada, and so forth that are flavored, naturally flavored with things like rum, brandy, bourbon from the US, all sorts of wines like sherry wine. And they don't tell you that, but it's allowed to be done. You say, well, that's not natural, putting rum in blended whiskey. Well, may not be right, but an old practice. They do that. It's a known thing. Here's Bay Street Spirits, introduced in 2010 by Florida Caribbean Distillers, produced in Florida of all places. Central Florida, yes, Central Florida, Auburndale, Florida. This one you're going to notice it looks dark in the bottle, but when you pour it in the glass, it's much lighter. It's like the plastic bottle is not as clear as you might believe. This is labeled for Bay Street. Oh, price. Like I said, $6.49, $13.99 for this big handle bottle. True story. $13.99. Yeah. Do they sell Dance at Total Wine and More? They might. They just might. They sell a lot of stuff over there. Bankers Club, straight bourbon. Bankers Club blended, which I bought. I taste challenged it already. Did okay. Didn't do great. Didn't do terrible. Same price, $13.99. Not a bad value. From New Jersey. Previously from Philadelphia, but the company was bought out and the operations moved to New Jersey. It used to be called Kasser Bankers Club, but Kasser got bought by Laird, so now it's Kasser Laird. Okay, I'm trying to even it, but it's going to be difficult. I'm not going to keep adding until I get to the top of the glass to get it even. Not that crucial, but it would be nice to get it right. Okay, I think I got it. So we got amber by virtue of the added caramel color. Now, my experience with the charcoal perfected from Dance was not, my past experience was not pleasant. It tasted strange, off kilter, it just tasted non-standard, like odd, peculiar, weird. Like Christine McVie said, my friends say I'm acting peculiar. Well, this whiskey acts peculiar. This is very pale. The base street is, look how straw that is. Look how pale. That I don't think has color added. So if you want a blended whiskey that probably does not have coloring added, this is it, I think. What about flavorings added? Doesn't taste like it. Just tastes like corn, candy corn, a little oak but no char, which makes sense. 20% straight whiskey. What type of whiskey? I don't know. I get the feeling that it's corn whiskey. Straight corn. You mean like mellow corn? Yeah, something like mellow corn. Mellow corn has no color added. We know that because it's straight corn whiskey. We know it has no charred oak because it's straight corn whiskey, and corn whiskey cannot be aged in charred oak barrels. It has to be new, to my straight corn with new uncharred oak. And then if you put it in charred oak, then it's bourbon. You say the only difference between bourbon and corn whiskey is that one is aged in charred oak, one is aged in uncharred oak. That's exactly the case. That is the case. Now, it smells like fermented and distilled grains, cereal grains. And I'm not trying to be cheeky and make a joke. I'm not trying to be, like I was saying 2 days ago, a funny bunny or a silly Billy. I'm just telling you what it smells like. If you gave this blind to somebody, say, smell that, what does that smell like? They'd say, I don't know, some kind of funky whiskey. And they might mean pungent, like, ooh. I don't think they would say it's bourbon. They might, but they just say, oh, that's some kind of whiskey. They certainly wouldn't say it was Scotch, and they wouldn't say it's Irish. They might think it was Canadian whiskey. Is Canadian whiskey that different than American bourbon whiskey? Yes and no. Because it's blended, so they might be using 80% grain whiskey instead of just corn. But then what's the grain made out of? You say, well, corn. Right. And it's aged 3 years in used bourbon barrels, whereas American bourbon is aged, might be a minimum of 1 year. There is no age requirement for bourbon. I know somebody's going to run up and say, you're wrong. Got you there. It's 2 years. That's for straight bourbon. Different class. New charred oak. With some rye, perhaps some wheat, and some barley. You say, well, Canadian whiskey has rye, wheat, and barley. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, it's like the same thing with just a slightly different process in the US and a slightly different process in Canada. The big differential really though is the Canadian government allows the addition of up to 9.9% flavoring, whereas American bourbon cannot have flavoring unless it's blended bourbon, in which case it can have flavoring. So it's complicated, but not actually complicated. It's just, you got to know the rules. Okay. Not as pungent in the nose, mild in the nose, almost like a flat smell. In other words, this one's like bursting out of the glass. This one is just subsisting in the glass. And you could say that you're picking up something like a nougat from a Three Musketeers bar. And I said previously in previous taste challenges and just regular reviews that the J.W. Dant had a strange Three Musketeers, the nougat part of the bar taste. I don't know why you'd want to taste whiskey that tastes like that, but that's it. All right. So let's go with the taste, and we'll try to read comments if there's any. But I got to keep my eyes closed by virtue of the very pale Bay Street versus the caramel colored copper J.W. Dant charcoal perfected. Daylight's coming. It's very foggy outside. I've been blowing foghorns on the river all morning. The boats on the river. Boom, boom. There is a sharp pepper note here. You say pepper. Is that so? I don't mean pepper like black pepper. I mean pepper like if it had a higher than normal rye ratio, rye percentage. Well. This one too, though, it's got that rye spice too. So I didn't notice it before, but that's how these whiskeys go. You don't notice anything with something, like you'll notice other things. Then when you taste challenging against another one, you say, oh, I didn't notice that rye before. They'll bring out different things in each other. Now, what they bring out might be bad, but usually it's just something unusual that you hadn't encountered before or you've forgotten about, something like that. Okay, which one tastes better? I'm telling you, these are not made to drink neat. I am violating their whole raison d'etre, their whole reason for existence, because these are not produced for people to sit and drink neat at room temperature. They are made to be on ice at a minimum, on the rocks, and even more so to be mixed with Mountain Dew and Mellow Yellow and who knows what else. But you know what I'm saying? It's that kind of thing. Oh boy. Which one tastes better? I don't know. Tell me which one's cheaper. No, the Bay Street's cheaper actually, and it does taste a little better. I know that's got to be the Dance. Got to be the Dance. Because it's got this strange like sugar in it. And I mean like caramel sugar, toffee, bacon, confectionery sugar. I don't know what it is. Nougat from like a Three Musketeers bar, like I keep saying. It's weird. You say, what kind of weird flavoring did they add? Man, I don't know. But see, I don't know all the rums that Heaven Hill makes. I know they got Admiral Nelson, kind of like their popular one. Oh, but they got all kind of rums. Man, look, if you look on their product specification, they got rums that you say, I never heard of that. But you might have seen it in your town, like at the very bottom shelf. And you thought, what was that? What was that weird rum and that silver rum in that plastic bottle? What is that? And you don't think about it, but that's Heaven Hill, man. And I'm not going to excuse Sazerac because they do the same thing. Bandolero tequila. Bandolero. That is a weird one. It just started showing up, Bandolero. And they got rid of Albertsons tequila. So now it's Bandolero at Albertsons, Vons, Jewel Osco, Amigo Supermarket. But I don't think it's made just for them, because I was at Star, which is a liquor store / convenience store / restaurant, because they sell fresh boudin, and I think maybe other breakfasts that they cook / money changer, like literally got like this payday loan banking. I don't know what it is thing. I don't slash catch-all. It's a catch-all store. But they had Bandolero right there on the shelf, the silver and the gold. Maybe that, yeah, and the 151 proof. I said, look at that Bandolero. No, I'm thinking of a different rum. There was another weird rum brand that I said, no, Bandolero tequila and the silver and gold tequila. Sorry about that. What was that weird rum they had that was 151? Then the silver and the. I was looking at that. I said, look what they got in here. Are you climbing on the fence? I'm coming out in a minute. I'm almost finished. All right. Max Wolf from Russia says, good morning. The sun is coming up and high five. Same to you. Well, I'm going to call it JW Dant. I think the Bay Street's a little better, but I'm going to tell you it's not way better, but it is cheaper from my experience, so it wins. Bay Street. Haha, Bay Street. Got it. Why? Because it's so unique and exciting and exquisite and fabulous on its own? No. Nothing like that. It's because the dance is so strange. When you're a stranger. So it's not that the Bay Street distinguishes itself by its uniqueness. This is regular old whiskey, blended whiskey. It's that the Dant stands out by its oddity. And I'm not going to say that the oddity makes it better. To me, it makes it like wanky and weird and strange. I mean, I'm glad I bought it just because that helps me learn that some companies make products that should not exist, you know. But I wouldn't recommend it unless you're one of the people like me that likes weird. I don't say you like it because I don't like it, but you like to try strange things just to say, oh, I tried that. That was really strange. I'll never buy it again. That kind of thing. It's not ghastly and horrible. It's not a D. It's probably in the C range, though. I think I gave it B minus, though. What did I give it when I first solo reviewed it? An 80? I don't think it's really worth an 80. I don't think it really scores that high. For strangeness, it's a 90. Good morning, Ron, says BC's Beer Reviews. Hey, BC's Beer Reviews. We missed you on the pumpkin beers last night, but I saw you did the Jacko, and I watched the video already. Monday. Oh, Monday could be one of those days where I come home later on and I don't feel like doing a taste challenge. I might have to. Friday, I did Friday already because I did this Canadian whiskey. I'm going to post a solo review soon enough. It's not popular at all, but it's around. It exists. And then I'm going to get back to really good stuff like Crown Royal Reserve and XO and all of those good things, you know. But I said, let me slum it a little longer. I shouldn't say slum it, you know, it sounds terrible, but you know what I mean. And then, so we're going to have a whole month, probably all of November be Canadian whiskey. Then we get into Irish. I got that, the Tealings. Oh, what a deal I got on that. I'll tell you about that later. Anyhow, we're going to look at, I think, doing a Monday taste challenge later today. And then I'll just check it off on my schedule book, and I'll know Monday's accounted for. Saturday morning should be no problem, and Sunday morning should be no problem for Dawn Busters. So I think that's the way we'll arrange it. And then we'll be back to normal Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and whatnot next week. Dallas Cowboys says, good morning, my brother. Good morning to you. Sorry about that. Didn't have any pumpkin beer. Same thing with Jean-Pierre. He didn't have a pumpkin beer. It's a good reason not to join. If I don't join Monday night for Multi Monday, it's going to be because I don't have a Dortmunder style beer. And I don't have a lot of confidence to find it. that I'm going to find it, but it's possible. Just not too likely, I'm afraid. But we hoping. All right, that's it. So Bay Street wins. I would say it wins by a pretty good amount. The the dance is just too aberrant. It's just too much strangeness. I can get a whole handle of it at Dorgnax, a whole big handle like this of JW Dance. But why would I ever do that when I'm not even pleased with the 750? But just goes to show you, I could find it. It's a nice looking old style label, like they say, old style. Well, if this is what old style blended whiskey tastes like, I'm glad they changed the style. The label's pretty and all of that. Old timey, with a lot of busy writing on it. These old whiskey bottles look like a medicine bottle with all this busy writing, cursive writing. But it's got JW Dance signed twice. He signed his name in black and then he signed his name in red. That's not really a very good label design, though, when you think about it. Like, why would they have that redundancy there? It's like nonsensical. But you think Heaven Hill's spending a lot of time on their cut rate blended whiskey label design? Something tells me they're not. Anyway, they're focusing on, Evan Williams, even more so Elijah Craig, things like that. Well, may as well chase the money, right? All right. But this stuff does bring in a steady income for them. Steady, not big, but steady. And steady is important. Seagram's, I think, lost track of that back in the 90s, and that's why they went out of business in 2000. Everybody's up early today, says Enjoy the Decline. I see that. Well, later, everybody. See you later, crocodile. After a while, alligator.